I'll Mature When I'm Dead, Dave Barry's Amazing Tales of Adulthood, is his latest volume of essays from Putnam, and it takes on marriage, parenthood, and other subjects grown-ups are supposed to know something about. Although I'm not convinced he does consider himself a grown-up, I'm very pleased to welcome him back to our show. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And in the light of your title, I met a woman last year who immediately endeared herself to me by declaring that she isn't very mature. So this isn't just a male thing.
No, but it's rarer, I think, with women. Women are born sort of mature. I have a son and a daughter. My son is 29. My daughter is 10. And since my daughter was 4, I feel I would have been more likely to leave my house with her alone than with my son. Because they just have a grown-up thing going on. But it's nice if you met a woman, and I'm happy for you, Leonard, by the way.
That I've met a woman.
I think it's good.
Because
the inflatable doll thing, man.
It gets really tired,
Yeah.
very old.
Although you had some nice models, I have to say. Oh, we're not supposed to discuss this on the air.
This book consists almost entirely of essays that haven't been published before. Is that because you stopped writing for the Miami Herald?
Yeah, I occasionally write for the Herald, but I stopped writing a weekly column about 5 years ago.
Just got tired of it? Because you've done it for about 25 years?
Yeah, I did it for a long, long time. And I was doing some other things of writing these young adult fiction books with Ridley Pearson and just writing other books. And it just felt like a good time to not have that weekly deadline. And so these essays are just sort of humor essays that I would have probably written 800-word columns about back when I was doing that. But this was an opportunity to sort of expand them and do kind of different formats.
So you weren't a victim of the general decline in the newspaper industry?
I think I was the cause of it because if you'll notice, I stopped writing my column, and then what happened? The newspaper industry went right down the toilet. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Well, you do have an essay titled A Practical Workable Plan for Saving the Newspaper Business, and the subtitle is, I Sure Don't Have One.
Yeah. I think what we have in the newspaper industry is a demonstration of the extreme foolhardiness of allowing a major industry to be run by English majors. Because when I started out, that's most of the people in the business, the editors, everybody's an English major. And what we didn't realize was that we had the most perfect situation. Most newspapers were what's the word, the economic thing when you're the only one that can monopolies. Mm-hmm. They were monopolies, and they were making tons of money no matter what they put in the newspaper. Anything in the newspaper would, because really people, they didn't, they were selling ads because there was nowhere else to advertise.
Advertisers wanted to be in the newspapers because that's where people saw the ads.
Exactly. Thank you for telling me what I was trying to spurt out here.
But anyway, I used to do that.
But then we English majors thought it was because everybody wanted to read what we had to say, and then lo and behold, it turns out that was not the case. So that's not what we're dealing with.
And now people aren't running ads in them anymore.
No.
Do you think that there is a way newspapers can successfully integrate into the digital age and still turn a profit?
Well, here's our current business model. We're going to take all this content that we used to charge people money for, and we're going to put it on the internet and give it away for free. And then we're going to wait and see what happens. So far, that has produced no good results, but that's what we're all doing.
Well, there seems to be a generational divide with younger people embracing the new technology, but you're one of the people who really has embraced it, even though you're of a certain age.
I am. I'm old, but I love the internet. I look at the way I function now. I sit down to write something, and I need to know something like I don't know. I need to know the population of Rhode Island for some reason. And in the old days, I would have had to go find the almanac and look up Now I get on the internet and I Google, population of Rhode Island, and the next thing I know, I have 111 million pages to look at.
But half of them have misinformation,
right? And also pretty soon I'm going here, I'm going there, and then the next thing I'm reading an article about fruit flies of the Ryukyu Islands. I'm wasting time faster than ever before, thanks to the internet. That's really what I'm saying. It's a great way to not do what you're supposed to be doing. I need a search engine that whatever you type in, it comes back with, get back to work.
Well, I recently interviewed an author and asked him certain questions about his life, and he said, "Oh, it's all wrong, but you must have been reading my Wikipedia file."
I did one time look up myself on Wikipedia, and I was horrified. But, apparently... people decide what is important about your life. And some of it was true, but just seemed so spectacularly irrelevant to me, and so I decided I was never going to go back and look at it again.
My Wikipedia file has me married to somebody who is no longer alive, actually.
Are the
But we were never
dolls,
married.
The inflatable dolls on there anywhere? Or that?
It's shocking
Yeah.
how much misinformation there is. You also write about the healthcare crisis, and your conclusion there is pretty bleak. Do you think that it's basically impossible to come up with a workable healthcare system in this country?
Yes. But I mean, I'm not an expert, but I'd say yes.
Well, there are other countries where they've worked it out.
Well, really? Which ones?
Oh, if you've ever been sick in France, you know that...
I have been sick in France, but the next day I felt better. And then I learned that's why you don't mix all those different kinds of alcohol.
But you go to a doctor, it's just fabulous. Germany is very inexpensive. England works.
Then maybe
despite what Canada, the Canadians, I know that whenever people talk about a national health plan here, people say, well, in Canada you got to wait. Well, the Canadians love their system as far as I can tell, and you got to wait here as well.
Okay, I think we should just start sending people to all those.
Let's send them to Canada, right?
You know what I think, though? I mean, I have to say,
so you don't like the health care bill that just passed?
I don't really know anything about the health care bill that just passed. I don't know that anybody knows anything about it. I do know this: it did not address the one issue that I think was the most important, which is, and I think you're going to agree with me on this. We need to find a way for the medical profession to get to the prostate gland other than the way they're getting to it now. We need a procedure where the doctor stands like 80 yards away. Looks good from here, Dave.
Well, you do have an essay here, the only one that was published before, about getting a colonoscopy, and that one is much more serious than the others.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was one of the rare instances where I actually had a point to make. I did not.
You actually had a point to make?
It's very unusual for me, and some facts. I did not get a colonoscopy when I was supposed to. I was supposed to when you're around being turned 50, and I didn't. I went, and I even wrote a column about getting colonoscopy, but I never actually got a colonoscopy. I got past 60, and then I got a call from my brother Sam, who's 10 years younger than I am, who went and got a colonoscopy when he turned 50, which is what you're supposed to do. He's more adult than I am. And they found a problem. They found cancer. And fortunately, they found it early, and they operated on him, and he's fine now. Everything was fine. But I remember he called me and said, I just want you to know that they screened me, and I have cancer. And I know, I'm sure you already got screened, but they said it's important that your brothers get screened too. And of course, I hadn't done it, so I went and got one, and I wrote an essay about why you should get one, and I do want to stress that it's really not bad. I mean, it's nothing to it.
Well, you're warned that it's terribly painful, but
it's not.
They knock you out, don't they?
It's not terrible.
That's what happened to me.
There's no pain at all. But they do knock you out, except in Canada they don't knock you out. But they do.
Well, if you're from the United States, they don't knock
exactly.
you out.
Here for now they knock you out. But the one thing I have to warn people is they give you the procedure itself is nothing. They do give you a beforehand, the day before, a nuclear laxative, so powerful that your bowels travel into the future, and you expel food you have not even eaten yet. So you have to be prepared for that part of it. The rest of the actual procedure is nothing.